You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page as well. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. On today's episode of the podcast, we review Match 1 of IPL 2021 between the Mumbai Indians and the Royal Challengers Bangalore. It's the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast, and let's get started. Let's have a look at the match summary for this first game of IPL 2021 between the Mumbai Indians and the Royal Challengers Bangalore from Chennai. The Mumbai Indians batted first and made 9 for 159 from their 20 overs. Chris Lynn top scored with 49 off 35 balls. Harshal Patel took 5 for 27 for RCB. The Royal Challengers Bangalore chased down the runs and finished on 8 for 160 from their 20 overs. AB de Villiers top scored with 48 off 27 balls. Jasprit Bumrah, Jansen took 2 wickets each for the Mumbai Indians. RCB won by 2 wickets, and the man of the match was Harshal Patel. What were some of the key factors and key moments from this first game of IPL 2021 between the Mumbai Indians and the Royal Challengers Bangalore? Well, I thought RCB did well to keep Mumbai to 159. At one stage, it looked like Mumbai were getting a score of 160 plus. So RCB did well to peg them back to 159 and bowled pretty well towards the back end of the Mumbai Indians' innings. The partnerships that RCB had between Kohli and Sundar for 36 for the first wicket, Kohli and Maxwell for 52 for the third wicket, and AB de Villiers and Kyle Jamieson 30 for the 7th wicket really contributed to RCB chasing down these runs, and were really the key factors in RCB winning this game and winning the first game of IPL 2021. Let's have a look at both teams' performances from this first game of IPL 2021. We'll start with the Mumbai Indians and their batsmen. Rohit Sharma, 19, Lynn, 49, Suryakumar Yadav, 31, Krishna, 28, Hardik Pandya, 13, Kieron Pollard, 7, and Krunal Pandya, 7. Let's have a look at their bowlers. 2 wickets for Jansen and Bumrah, a wicket each for Krunal Pandya and Trent Boult. No wickets for Chahal. That's how the Mumbai Indians performed as a team in this first game of IPL 2021. I think it was a bit of a rusty performance from the Mumbai Indians in Game 1. I thought it was a below par performance from them. A bit rusty, as I said before. We'll talk about their batting first. I thought they batted okay. Chris Lynn and Suryakumar Yadav put on 70 for the second wicket, which was the highest partnership for the innings for Mumbai. It was really hard for batsmen on both sides, really, on this pitch in Chennai, getting used to this surface. It was a bit slow, wasn't coming onto the bat nicely, so batsmen found it a bit hard to get in and get set. But the partnership between Chris Lynn and Suryakumar Yadav, I should say, was a good partnership for Mumbai, obviously adding 70 before both of them got out. Obviously, that was getting Mumbai probably up to a score around about 160 plus at one stage, but RCB did well. Harshal Patel in particular did well to take 5 wickets, and that pretty much slowed Mumbai's momentum in their innings, really, because once they lost Lynn and Suryakumar Yadav, and that partnership broke, then the other batsmen coming in found it a bit difficult and a bit hard starting on this slow surface in Chennai. And obviously wickets kept falling and they just couldn't get the momentum back in the innings. So RCB did a fantastic job in restricting them to 159. I thought Mumbai, if they had to be critical on themselves, I think they would have liked to bat a bit better and really apply themselves a bit better on this surface. Obviously, it's the first game of the season, so you are going to have a bit of rustiness there. And obviously, the team hasn't played for some time since the last IPL, which was a few months ago in the UAE. So it's going to take a bit of time for the group and the team to get back into the rhythm of the IPL again. And obviously with these players, just going to get that cohesion back within the team, and obviously going to get that gel back together as well. And hopefully that will lead to better results for Mumbai, hopefully for the rest of the tournament, and maybe potentially winning a third IPL title in a row. But obviously going forward for them, probably just looking at just trying to adapt better on this surface, because they are going to play a few games on this surface in Chennai. And obviously, going forward, obviously, they're going to play some games here in Chennai. So they need to learn from this surface, how to bat on it, how to adapt on it, and how to play on this surface. Because it is going to be a slow surface. It's not going to be quick. So they just need to improve that side of their batting. Just trying to get better at adapting to different conditions, especially here in Chennai with the slow nature of the pitch. Obviously, as I said before, they're going to play a few games here in Chennai, so this will put them in good stead for those games that they have here in Chennai before they move on elsewhere for the rest of the IPL. So overall, their batting was okay, but it could have been better. I thought their bowling was okay as well. They took wickets at regular intervals and they put RCB under pressure, and it did get close towards the back end of the match. RCB needed 2 off 2 balls, and then it was 1 off 1. So really, they did really well to really take it to the end of the 20 overs and really put RCB under pressure. Obviously, you got Bumrah, Bolt, Krunal Pandya in the bowling and attack. I thought Janssen bowled pretty well. Chahal was a bit expensive, but they're all great bowlers. So this Mumbai Indians attack is a good bowling attack, and obviously they showed us in this bowling innings that they can push sides to the limit and really put them under pressure. And that's what they did to RCB in this game today. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the result, but it's good signs for them going forward as a bowling unit that the bowlers are getting into the tournament, getting a few wickets and boosting their confidence. And that will put them in good stead for the rest of this IPL. Overall, I think Mumbai will be disappointed with the result. I think this is the 9th time they've lost their first game to start an IPL season. Obviously, last year they lost the first game, but they managed to win the IPL. So I think if you're a Mumbai Indians fan, I think it will be the same again this year, hopefully. They've lost the first game, but can they win the IPL title? I think they still can. It's only the first game of the season. As I said before, bit of rustiness there, but once they get into the tournament and start winning games, they'll get back to the Mumbai Indians of old, and as we saw in the IPL last year. But they're a class side, and they should have no troubles bouncing back. Let's have a look at RCB's team performance in this first game for IPL 2021. We'll start with their batsmen. Sundar, 10. Curley, 33. Padiyar, 8. Maxwell, 39. De Villiers, 48. And Ahmed, 1. Let's have a look at their bowlers. Harshal Patel took 5 wickets. A wicket for Jamison, no wickets for Ahmed, Christian, Siraj and Chahal. That's how the RCB team performed in this first match. I thought RCB played pretty well, I thought. It's a good win, first up. It's very important for RCB. I feel for them this year that they need to get some wins under their belt to really boost their confidence. They've got some great players. They've got some new players in this side like Maxwell, Christian, Jamison, who have done well for their countries and also have done well in various other T20 leagues around the world. They've also got Curley and De Villiers as well, obviously the veterans, and some other players as well. But I think for RCB, this is a great confidence booster for them. The question remains, can they do it? I think after this game, what I saw in this game was great belief from RCB. At one stage, the Mumbai Indians were looking like getting a total of 160 plus, and that would have been a difficult target to chase on a slow surface here in Chennai. But what RCB did really well in their bowling innings was Harshal Patel. His spell of 5 for 27 really got the momentum back with RCB because he took those 5 wickets towards the back end of the Mumbai Indians innings, and really what that did slowed Mumbai's momentum down in their innings, and they couldn't really recover from that, Mumbai. And in the end, they made a total of 159, which was still a good score on this surface, but RCB managed to chase that in the end. So they did really well, and especially Harshal Patel did really well to take those wickets, get RCB back in this game, and really did well to restrict them to a total of 159. The rest of the bowlers struggled a bit, and that's probably the other concern going forward. I think the other concern for them is their other bowlers. Ahmed, Christian, Siraj and Chahal went for some runs. Chahal in particular went for some runs. So they really need him to fire as we progress throughout this IPL RCB. Siraj bowled pretty well. Christian, he bowled okay. Didn't take a wicket. Same with Ahmed. Jamieson bowled well. Obviously, he's been struggling of late for New Zealand in T20s. Obviously, having a horrid time of it. But his first IPL game, he did pretty well. And obviously, Harshal Patel, as I said before, taking those 5 wickets. So the bowling attack is pretty good for RCB, but they just need to get some consistency with the bowling and just nail their spots, bowl the good lines and lengths and execute their plans and have really clear plans and obviously bowl to their fields as well. So that's something they can look forward and try and get better at as we progress in this IPL. In saying that, their bowling was pretty good, did well to restrict Mumbai to 159, and in the end, they were able to chase that down. So their bowling attack's pretty good. Obviously, they can still improve a lot on their bowling going forward in this IPL, as I said before. We'll talk about their batsmen now. I thought their batting was okay. They got off to a good start in the run chase. Virat Kohli and Washington Sundar opening the batting added 36 for the first wicket. Then Kohli and Maxwell added 52 for the third wicket. And then De Villiers and Kyle Jamieson added 30 for the 7th wicket. And pretty much those partnerships were crucial for RCB chasing down these runs. In the end, it led to them winning this game and chasing the runs down. After the partnership between Kohli and Maxwell, once that partnership was broken, they lost a few wickets after that. And then obviously AB de Villiers managed to bat with the tail and get the team over the line. Now, if de Villiers got out early, it could have been a lot different, and it could have been a lot different for RCB, and it could have been a lot worse for RCB. It could have been a loss in this game. They could have lost this game because, as I said before, they lost Kohli and Maxwell, and then wickets fell after that. So a big clump of wickets fell, and it was very hard for batsmen to start on this surface in Chennai, being a slow surface. Very hard to get used to it and get in. So the wickets fell. The momentum was shifting towards Mumbai at one stage, but then AB de Villiers managed to get the runs and obviously get RCB over the line. In doing that, obviously he got the team over the line and RCB won the game. But as I said before, by losing those wickets, you don't have a set batsman in, basically, because Kohli and Maxwell were the set batsmen. They got out, and then de Villiers came in, and then he got in and set, but other batsmen fell around him. Obviously, he was the key in getting RCB the win, obviously. But as I said before, if he got out early, and if he did get out early, it would have been a different result for RCB. They would have lost this first game, and it could have been a loss first up to start IPL 2021. But in the end, he managed to get them over the line. So I think that's an area RCB need to improve in their batting, is they can't afford to lose wickets in clumps. Make sure that you have wickets in hand, because when you come down to the business end of a run chase, for example, as we saw in this game against Mumbai, you need a set batsman, either one set batsman or two set batsmen. It makes the job a lot easier. If you keep losing wickets, that's a very hard job to do. So in the end, overall, their batting was pretty good, but they can still get better at their batting going forward in this IPL. But overall, I think RCB will be very happy with the win. Good to win first up. Obviously, it will boost their confidence, for the rest of IPL 2021. Let's have a look at both teams' potential 11s for their next match. We'll start with the Mumbai Indians. Their next match is against the Kolkata Knight Riders, and I think the Mumbai Indians will keep the same team for their next game against the Kolkata Knight Riders. I don't think Mumbai need to make massive changes. I don't think this is a time for panic. Obviously, it's only game one, and obviously last year the Mumbai Indians lost their first game last year in the IPL, and they managed to win the IPL. So the same things happen again, and hopefully for Mumbai it will lead to another title this year. Obviously, it's very important for the Mumbai Indians to keep the same 11 for this next game. Obviously, to get the team back into winning ways and obviously start gelling together and get that cohesion as we saw in 2020 for last year's IPL. So I think the potential 11 could be Rohit Sharma, Lin, Suryakumar Yadav, Krishna, Hardik Pandya, Pollard, Krunal Pandya, Jansen, Chahar, Bumrah and Bolt. Let's have a look at RCB's potential 11 for their next match, which is against the Sunrisers Hyderabad. I think they'll keep the same team, RCB, heading into their next game against the Sunrisers Hyderabad. I don't think they need to make any changes. As they say in cricket, you don't change a winning team. So I think they'll keep the same 11. It's very important for RCB to try and get this 11, get these core group of players playing a lot of games with each other. Obviously, there's some new faces in this team. Obviously, Dan Christian and Kyle Jamieson have come on board, Glenn Maxwell as well. So there are a lot of new faces in this RCB team. So it's very important for RCB to try and get those players some game time, try and build that cohesion within the team and consistency, and hopefully that will lead to wins and bigger things for RCB in this IPL season. So the potential 11 could be Sunder, Kohli, Padiyar, Maxwell, De Villiers, Ahmed, Christian, Jamieson, Patel, Siraj and Chahal. What can we expect from the Mumbai Indians and RCB for their next games? We'll start with the Mumbai Indians. Their next game's on the 13th of April, back in Chennai. It's against the Kolkata Knight Riders. What can we expect from them in that game? Well, I think we'll see a better performance from the Mumbai Indians. I think under the leadership of Rohit Sharma as captain and Mahela Jayawardene as coach, they will have no problems in getting the team to bounce back and hopefully win that game against the Knight Riders back in Chennai for game number 5 of this IPL. I think for them, for Mumbai, obviously they're a class side. They've got some class players. Obviously, game 1 against RCB was a bit of a disappointment, obviously losing this first game. But they're a class side, as I said before. They've got some class players that will have no problems in bouncing back. Obviously, they are going to feature in the playoffs this year. They are going to be strong favourites to win another IPL title for the 3rd year in a row. So really, it's only the first game, but hopefully for them, they can win this game against the Kolkata Knight Riders and bounce back. What can we expect from RCB? Their next game's on Wednesday, the 14th of April. That is against the Sunrisers Hyderabad in Chennai as well. For RCB, it's about consistency. They need to back up this performance from this game against the Mumbai Indians. Because I feel for RCB, if they get a couple of wins under their belt, if they start the season 2-0, then that's a great start for RCB. Obviously, they need to improve on a few areas from this game against Mumbai, obviously. Their batting, they need to improve that. Some areas to improve on in the batting. Their bowling, they need to work on some areas as well. But overall, for RCB, if they can back up this performance in that next game against the Sunrisers, then that will put them in good stead. If they can win that game, go 2-0 up after 2 games, obviously, to start season 2021 of this IPL, then that will put them in good stead, obviously be a confidence booster for them for the rest of the IPL, and hopefully for them, and hopefully for Virat Kohli, finally, this is the breakout year for RCB, and they finally win an IPL title. So for RCB, they just need to back up this performance into that game against the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Overall, it was a great game to watch and a great game to start IPL 2021. Let's hope we get more exciting games and thrilling finishes as we progress through this IPL season for 2021. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get the latest episodes of the podcast, and like and share our Facebook page. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now.